यम ददा वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सार्वधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नीति नामे नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुने एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. The devotees, last time actually what we were doing is we had finished with text number 1, and I'm going a little slow with this particular Bhagavad Gita sessions so that we can understand every text in much details and we can understand Srila Prabhupada's purports. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada's purports are his ecstasies. So when we understand every line and we try to understand, and even from this Bhagavad Gita, we are giving some application points also. So once we know how to apply the Bhagavad Gita in our own lives, then we'll see that we will not have three things: shoka, moha, and bhaya. We will not have fear, we will not have lamentation, and we will not have any anxieties. And that's why I'm going a bit slow with these sessions of the Bhagavad Gita. So we have the second shloka. From actually second shloka onwards, now the Lord starts speaking. So you all can unmute yourselves and you can repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Tastva Kashmalam Medam
Kutasva Kashalam Idam
Kutasvatva Kashmalam Medam
Kutasva Kashmalam Idam
Vishame Samupe Astitam
Vishame Samupastitam
Me Samupastitam
Vishame Samupastitam
Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam
Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam
Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam
Anarya Jushtam Asvargyam
Akirtikaram Arjuna
Akirtikaram Arjuna
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Yeah, thank you so much, devotees. So the translation for this is: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, now you have these impurity. How have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to our higher planets, but infamy." So now, in this first particular paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is trying to establish the supremacy of the Lord. He's trying to say that Krishna is referred to over here as Bhagavan. So the word Bhagavan is a very elaborate where, many of them have tried to establish the supremacy of the Lord. So even many times Srila Prabhupada also says that Bhagavan means he has 6 opulences. And this particular verse, Vyasdev is writing. So of course, actually Vyasdev is speaking, through Sanjay, but the original writer is Vyasdev. So in other all shloka, he's writing Arjun Uvacha, Sanjay Uvacha, like that. But over here, he's writing, he could have written Krishna Uvacha. But no, over here, he's writing Bhagwan Uvacha. Why? Because Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And by writing, Bhagwan Uvacha, he's establishing the supremacy of the Lord, where he cannot be equal with Arjuna or Sanjay or anybody. And that is why he is a Samurdhva, Bhagwan. He is, supreme. Nobody is equal to him or nobody is higher than him. everybody is lower to him, and so that is the meaning of Bhagwan. So many people say that I am Bhagwan, but nobody can claim that I am Bhagwan. Nowadays there are so many other people who are saying, oh, I am Bhagwan, I am. So Vyasdev is not mistaken over here. All the Mayavadi philosophers also, they are also actually, sometimes they're thinking, oh, Vyasdev might be mistaken, maybe he's writing, he's accepting Lord as the incarnation of Narayana, Krishna is the incarnation of Narayana. So over here, Vyasdev is accepted as the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And Vyasdev has written many, many books. He's written the Vedas, he's written the Puranas, he's written the Mahabharata, he's written the Vedanta Sutras also, Srimad Bhagavatam also. So all these writings have been given by Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva is accepted as the incarnation of Narayana, where in the Bhagavatam it is said, he is Mahamuni Krite. So Vyasadeva is also actually one of the Munis, but Muni may be Mahamuni hai wo. He is, greater than all the Munis. So how can there be some mistake by Vyasadeva? So that is why there is a lot of mistakes in the by people, that so much of problem these people have, that okay, he is Vyasdev, okay, he might be mistaken, he might be not so so we have to come through a disciplic succession. There are so many way that people will be mistaken, but we might be mistaken, but Vyasdev is above all these mistakes. He is not an ordinary writer for any any material thing, or for a material name or sim. He's not writing that. He cannot be under any mistake. So like Krishna also cannot be mistaken. So similarly, Vyasdev also is an incarnation of Lord Bhagavan. He also cannot be mistaken. So neither the devotee of the Lord can be mistaken, or neither Krishna can be mistaken. So and that is why the devotee of Krishna, he does not say anything as his own opinion. He never says that what Krishna says, he says. He may not be like the devotee, or we might not be very perfect, but what Krishna said, that is perfect. We might not be very pure, but what Krishna is saying is actually perfect. And therefore, a pure devotee, he does not, say anything beyond what Krishna speaks. And that is why his statement is also without mistake. That is why Vyasdev's statement over here is also, perfect. He's not mistaken at all. So, the ordinary people in the material world, they have 4 defects. They actually are, they commit mistakes, they're illusioned, they have imperfect senses, and they get either cheated or they cheat other people. So even the modern day scientists and philosophers, they are also, they also propagate so many, branches of knowledge. But when a particular question is asked to them on a particular important point, and when they are caught, they say that, no, I do not know perfectly. I may not be knowing that. We are just trying to know. We're just trying to figure out. So, and in the future, we might just tell you. So, but if they are not in perfect knowledge, then why should why should they take the post of, a scientist or a philosopher or a teacher? If their knowledge is imperfect, then whatever they are speaking, that is also imperfect. So with imperfect knowledge, why should they become, philosophers, scientists, or teachers? So that is cheating propensity. And that is why Vyasdeva here purposefully is writing Sri Bhagwan Uvacha, where there is no cheating, there is no imperfection, there is no illusion, and there is no mistake. These 4 things are not there. And these 4 things distinguishes a human being from the Supreme Lord. What are those 4 things we just discussed? We are prone to make mistakes. We are in illusion. We have this cheating propensity, and our senses are imperfect. But the Lord does not have these four imperfections, and that is why he's called Bhagavan. And that is why we are taking the Bhagavad Gita so seriously. There are so many other books that are there, and so many theories are there in the market. Big philosophers are there, but we do not take them. Why? Because their philosophies, their theories are completely defective. They are sure to make any mistake. They are illusioned over there, and their senses are not perfect. And therefore, there is imperfection in their work. And with all these defects, we cannot accept anyone's knowledge. So, our Vedic process is actually comes from the parampara system. Parampara means disciplic succession. We receive knowledge right from the Supreme Lord itself in perfect. And if we have received knowledge from the Supreme Lord, and then we distribute that same knowledge, whatever the Supreme Lord has said, without any interpretation, without any addition or subtraction in that, without any of our cheating policies, then that knowledge which we distribute, that is also perfect. We may not be perfect, but the knowledge that we have taken from Krishna or from his representatives, and then if we present it as it is without any interpretation, then that is perfect knowledge that we are giving. This is very, it is like, for an example, if I say that, just like a, peon, okay, or a postman, he has bought some money order for you of 1,000 rupees. Okay, so that postman is giving it to you. So you cannot say that, oh, here is a postman, he's a poor man. Okay, how can he give me 1,000 rupees? He's not giving the money to us. Please mute yourselves. So he's not. Sudha, please mute yourself. So he's not giving the perfect, he's not giving us the money. The money is sent by some of your friends. He's simply handing it over to, you. So that is why, this particular thing has to be understood. And anybody, is understanding this from the superior authority or the spiritual master. What the spiritual master has ordained us, or he has ordered us that, okay, you please go and preach. So we just have to go and preach. We just have to, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Vyasaitmika buddhir ekehe kuru nandana bahushakha hi anantasya buddhir avavyasinam. So he says that Vyasaitmika buddhi. If one has got unflinching faith in Guru and Krishna, then his preaching work will be successful. We have to receive mercy from both the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord. We cannot directly jump to Krishna. So that is not accepted. Krishna does not accept that. Krishna also says that, I don't accept anybody directly. He says that, first of all, you become a devotee of my devotee. And then you see, he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. He says that first you become a devotee of my devotee. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also says that. Sonam Mataji, please mute yourself. He also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that, okay, Gopir Bhatur Pad Kamalyo Das Anu Das. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So over here now, while reading the Bhagavad Gita, we are learning how to become the servant of Krishna. The more we become in this particular lower position, the more we become advanced in spiritual life. So in this material world, everybody is trying to become the boss, but here we have to become the das. We just have to become opposite. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also again says that, that you have to become Nishchayatmika. You have to become that the instruction which I've received from my Guru, that is my life and soul. And I must actually follow that instruction of my spiritual master. So Krishna also so over here, Krishna also is addressed as Bhagavan. Bhagavan Uvacha. Vyasdev does not say that Krishna Uvacha. He says that Bhagavan Uvacha. Why? Because Bhagavan means actually a person. Bhagavan is not an imperson. Bhagwan is the absolute truth who is manifested in three features that are there. So even in the purport, if you see to the text, second text of this purport, there are three features of the Lord. There is Brahman, there is Paramatma, and there is Bhagwan. So Brahman is the beginning, that is impersonal. Sarvam idam khalu Brahma. Because just like fire is burning somewhere, but its heat and light is impersonal. Suppose there is a big fire, and just like, we got one fire in the corner. So then we are feeling the heat, right? So that heat is impersonal. But that particular fireplace from where that blazing fire is emanating, so that is personal. So when you say that the impersonal conception is an offshoot of that particular person, so this is not accepted. So this will be explained more in the 9th chapter, Maya Tatam Idam Sarvam. Krishna says that everywhere I am spread, I exist everywhere. And how does it he exist everywhere? He's existing by his energy, and that energy is impersonal. But Krishna in himself is the supreme personal. Krishna is not impersonal. He is a proper person. And therefore, this word Bhagwan is used. Bhagwan means full of six opulences. Anybody who has 100% of, riches, fame, knowledge, beauty, strength, renunciation, these six qualities, whoever has in full, he is actually called Bhagwan. So this Bhagwan is the ultimate understanding of the absolute truth. परम सत्य का वो परम चर्म है जो हम अगर समझना चाहते हैं तो. So like for example, when you have temperature, what happens? You feel that temperature, okay? We feel that temperature, or even if it is hot outside, we feel that temperature, from the sunshine, that okay, there is heat and there is light also. The sun is giving heat and light also. So we can enjoy that light and heat also. But where is that heat and light coming? That is coming from the sun planet. So then that is the localized aspect of the Supreme Lord. That particular heat and light, from where it is coming, that is sun planet in itself, that is not impersonal. The sun planet is also person. And again, if we enter into that sun planet, then we will see that, okay, there is the sun god who is called Vivaswan. So we should not conclude finally simply that by heat and light. So Brahman understanding is the impersonal understanding of the absolute truth, is the perfect understanding, and the impartial understanding is that okay, he is the localized. But that partial understanding is also not full understanding. The full understanding is that Bhagwan. So that is why in Bhagwan there cannot be mistake. The Lord is above the mistake. So the Supreme Lord, Bhagwan, in this particular shloka, he's criticizing Arjuna. And what is he criticizing Arjuna? Kutasto kashmalam idam. So he's telling that, okay, from where have these impurities come? So Arjuna became a very good man, that, okay, why should I fight? I cannot fight. These are all my kingsmen. These are all my relatives. So from a material point of view, everybody will appreciate that, oh, Arjuna is so compassionate. He's so nice. He's non-violent. He's so forgiving. He has given up his bow and arrow. He's no longer fighting. He's decided not to fight with his, brothers and relatives and his teachers. So Arjuna might seem to be a very nice person from the material point of view. But the Supreme Lord Krishna is saying that Anarya Jushtam, that why are you speaking like a, an Arya? Anarya means, see, Aryans are those who know the purpose of life. Anarya means who do not know the purpose of life. So he's saying that why are you, speaking like an Arya? So So he's posing himself that, okay, I'm a very nice person, I don't want to fight. But when he comes to test, he refuses, that, okay, I don't want to, fight with my relatives and all. So there are two kinds of people. One is Anarya and then is Arya. Arya means Aryans. Aryan means, the advanced society. And Anarya means the uncivilized people. So Krishna is saying, why are you speaking like an uncivilized person? So immediately Krishna is actually chastising him. He's saying that you're talking just like a non-Aryan, uncivilized person. And, you know, uh, people are very much like, okay, we should stop war and this and that. But Krishna says that no. And in this particular case, the war is required. There is a war, necessity of a war. Just like this, he's trying to convince Arjuna that yes, war, Kshatriya means he has to fight. And according to Vedic civilization, this Dharma Yuddha, this is a religious fight, that when it is actually needed, there has to be fight and we must fight. Not that when there is a need of fight, become actually non-violent. No. So then sometimes it's, people might argue also that, okay, why should we kill any animal who is, there? We should be determined not to kill. But no, here we are not talking about killing any animal. Here, these were these aggressors who were, continuously harming the Pandavas right from the childhood. So every time he said that, okay, go to the forest, find some this, they were burnt also in Lakshagraha, also they tried to burn. So then Krishna is actually teaching from this shloka that whenever somebody is coming to attack you, then you must kill. You must do that self-defense. Then that is not hinsa, that is not violence. So definitely, when somebody is coming to attack me, will I not defend myself? Definitely, I will defend myself. So a devotee or a Krishna conscious person, he knows that when to kill and when not to kill. But it is not because that, we have to accept not killing because, killing should be stopped. No, if there is necessity, then even killing should be accepted. And that is why Arjuna is thinking that no, 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 I should not kill, I should not fight. And Krishna is saying that no, this is anarya justam. This kind of decision only an uncivilized person will make. A civilized person will never make, this decision. And that is why he says, anarya justam aswargyam akirtikaram. So many things, it says aswargyam, because the aim of human life is to make actually progress. And that is why anybody who is progressing in his spiritual life, then he is called an Aryan. But now, because we have got this human form of body, because we are put into this human species, then we have got this civilized form of body, then what should we do? We should endeavor to make further progress. Not just like, we just do eating, sleeping, mating and defending. But we should go to the higher planetary system. Urdhvam gachati sattvastata. So we should try to see that how will I progress from this lower species to a higher species. And there are many middle planetary systems also. There are many other planetary. But we have to have this, that how we can see that we can progress. And that is the meaning of Aryan. And Arya is one person who is making progress. And Arya means one who is not making any progress. So these non-Aryans know what they think is there is no life after death. So this life is only have been given. So I will enjoy to the best of my capacity. But that is demonic thinking. Just eating, drinking, merrymaking, enjoying. That too even animals are doing. But because as soon as the body will be finished, all these senses from which we are enjoying, whatever we are drinking and whatever we are enjoying with our eyes, everything will be finished. So then in this human form of life, Let me use my senses for the service of the Lord. So the non-Aryans, they do not think this. They only know that okay, there is no life after death, and they think that okay, what is the use of? So similarly, even these big people also, they are saying that okay, after death everything is finished, and who is accepting this? Who has seen what happens after death? So this philosophy is like an atheistic philosophy, because if you do not believe in reincarnation, then we are under the atheistic category. So even there is a Muni called Charvaka Muni. He also used to say that there is no concept of life. There is no concept of life after death. The life will be burned into, this body will be burned into ashes, and there is no chance of coming back. That means there are many people who have no information about the soul. And this particular chapter that is there, whether it is the contents of the Gita summarized, this chapter primarily is speaking about the analytical study of the material body and the spiritual soul. So that is why Krishna is saying that, oh, you're not belonging to the Aryan family. You don't belong to the Pandava family. You Akirti, you will be, you will not be celebrated as a Kshatriya at all. So people will say that, okay, he's not Krishna's friend, or he's not fighting. So you will have Akirti. You will have defame. There will be no reputation on your behalf. You will be having Akirti. So Krishna is actually trying to what do you say, provoke, or trying to inspire Arjuna to fight. Why? Because this is the time of danger. And the time of danger, you don't have to get bewildered. You have to pick up your weapons and you have to fight. And then, so then immediately, Krishna is, chastising Arjuna that please get up and fight. How have these impurities come upon you? So now he's saying that, Krishna is saying that, see, you are not doing a charity. Okay. If you've not got, you don't have to give anything in charity. Krishna says that if you want to give it to me. And I am saying that you please go and fight. Whatever you have, give it to me. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also says that yat karosi, yat juhosi, yat asnani, yat tapasi, dadasi, yat. So dadasi yat means whatever you have, you give it to me in charity. Give it to me. So whatever you do it for me. So there are so many activities, are there that are very good, but that may not be accepted by Krishna. So at this particular point of time also, Krishna is not accepting Arjuna's this particular activity of being non-violent. And that is why Krishna is saying that whatever you will be doing, that will be Shram Eva Hi Kevalam. If you're not satisfying Krishna, if you're not pleasing Krishna, and if you're not doing any work for the sake of Krishna, then you are actually not satisfying Krishna. You're just doing Shram Eva Hi Kevalam. So all these, so-called philosophers and, Mayavadi philosophers and these philanthropists, they have got their own concocted ideas. They have all this, the Krishna says in the, where it is written, Manorathena asto dhavato bihi. All mental concoction. So their mental concoction, what will happen? Krishna in the 5th canto of the 8th chapter says that Haro bhaktasya kutho mahad guno manorathena asto dhavato bihi. One who is not Krishna conscious, one who is not a devotee of Krishna, he has no good qualification. He's not a very big man. Even if you've opened the biggest of biggest hospitals or schools, but if you are not a devotee of Krishna, you're not doing it for Krishna's sake, you're not doing to please for Krishna, then you have no good qualifications. Hara bhaktasya, abhaktasya, then you don't have any good qualities. And that is why actually if you see that, from the karma kanda point of view, even for example, we are opening up a school. So in the next time, in my next birth, I will have a good education. Because it is coming up from pious activities and it is coming from a material point of view. So the benefit will be that we will have good education in our next life. And accepting that will be very nice. I shall be a very good scholar, or I might become a very good this, but again, I will have to take birth again. But, and taking birth means we also know that how many difficulties we have to go through. Krishna says that, no, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. In the 13th chapter, he says that whoever goes into this Janma Mrityu ka chakkar, the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, then where he has to go through? He has to go through Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. He has to go through those defects. He has to go through miseries, Dukkha. और उसको उन दुखों का दर्शन करना ही पड़ेगा. So one should see that, okay, this unhappiness is there because I'm continuously taking birth and death, birth and death. I'm into this, cycle of birth and death. So even in my next life, even if I get a heavenly planet, and even if I become a very rich man, even if I become a very learned man, I have to go through this dukkha. जिसने जन्म लिया है उसको दुख मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. So the others who are there, these philanthropists and all me, they do not consider this. They do not consider only Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So those people who now are actually learned and they know that, okay, again and again, I have to go through this process of birth and death. I have forgotten, that, my real connection is with Krishna. My real, this is with the Supreme Lord. Or I have to again and again take birth in the womb of a mother. Then the intelligent conclusion will be that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita again, he says that what is that 4.9 shloka, he says that tyakta deham punarjanma neti mameti so arjuna janma karma cha me divyam evam yogi tattvatya tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so arjuna. So we don't want to take any punarjanma, and that is an intelligent move. So after giving up this particular body, I don't want to enter into this material world again. Then where do I want to go? I want to go into the spiritual world. So there are so many people who do not understand this intelligence that, okay, I don't have to take another birth. And that is why the devotees all around the world, we all are in only one endeavor of teaching the innocent people that that yes, please get out of this cycle of birth and death. So one who has not any good qualities, then one who is not a devotee, he will not have any good qualities. So still that particular person will be under stress in this material world. And again, bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan ma prapadyante, he will have to keep on rolling in the cycle of birth and death. And bahunam janma पे जन्म लेना पड़ेगा. कब तक जन्म लेना पड़ेगा? जब तक वो भगवान की शरणागत नहीं जाता है. Till the time he does not surrender to Krishna, till that time he will keep on taking birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. So now, since we have got this particular knowledge, now we have got this wisdom from Bhagavad Gita, then we should think that how will I get out of this cycle of birth and death? So that is why Krishna is telling that, okay, you fight. But he's saying that no, I don't want to fight. All my relatives are there in that. And that is why Krishna is strongly criticizing him that don't talk like a foolish person. Don't talk like a person who is not having any intelligence. So he's using strong, and Krishna still has not used very strong words. Okay, he's just mildly rebuking actually Arjuna, that you're not talking like an intelligent man or a civilized man. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we might sometimes be very puffed up by our, mental concoction that, oh, I am doing this philanthropy work. It's such a nice work. But is it accepted by God? Is it accepted by Krishna? Then that is our concoction. So the one who is not guided by Krishna, one who is not guided by Krishna's representative, the spiritual master, he is a fool. So we must be guided. We must be guided by the spiritual master. We must be guided by Krishna's representative. And that is why then whatever activities we will do, that will come under Krishna consciousness. Or those activities will be there for working for Krishna. Now in the third chapter, when we will come to know exactly what work we should do and for whom that work should be done, and how that work, if not done for Krishna, will incur so many reactions. So this is so, this is Aryan, the Aryans are there. The Aryans they are guided by the Supreme Lord. They're guided by the Vedic culture. And the Aryan civilizing, that means they are actually all the time they are following the Vedas. And what is the purpose of the Vedas? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that what is that shloka? Mattasmitri jnana apohanam. Sarvacha samriddhi sanvishto mattasmitir jnano apohanam cha vedescha sarvera aham eva vedyam. Krishna says that from the Vedas, I am to be known. From the Vedas, you will come to know that the ultimate goal is to worship Krishna. And that is only, the proper Vedic system. And that is why we should not waste our time. We should just take up to this Krishna consciousness very, very, speedily. And that is why in the Bhagavad Gita also, in this particular, this paragraph, if you see that Krishna is, telling Arjuna that only. But in the purport, if you see, if you have read the purport and if you have come, so in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one conception of the absolute truth. As we explained that, there are three phases of the absolute truth. And where Prabhupada also is saying that these three divine aspects of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan, they can be explained by a very nice example. So the example is, Prabhupada is taking of the sun. So the sun also has three aspects. The sun has sunshine, the sun has its own, sun's surface, and the sun planet itself. So one who is only studying, the sunshine is like a preliminary student who is only understanding that, okay, भगवान एक सिर्फ रोशनी है, भगवान एक light है, और मुझे उस light में merge होना है. I want to merge into that light. So then that is a preliminary. Then the person who understands that the sun's surface, there is a sun surface, there is, there has a surface, it's only not light, because from that particular surface, the light is emanating, right? So then that is the second stage. And one who can enter into the sun planet is the highest. So, normally, ordinary students, they will simply say that, okay, the sun is just sunshine and it has got light and heat and, it has a glaring effulgence. So that is the impersonal feature. And that can be, compared to all those, people who are into the Brahman feature of the absolute truth. But any person who knows that, there is a sun disk, and this sun disk that is there, I can see that sun disk behind those sun rays, then that is called the Paramatma feature. Why? Because that sun rays that are emanating, okay, that are emanating everywhere, to all the species, right? And that is called the Paramatma feature of the absolute. And any student or any person who can enter into the heart of that sun planet and who can know that, okay, the sun planet, also there is an presiding deity of the sun planet, that is Vivaswan, Bhagwan Vivaswan hai, sun planet ke god hai. So then that is actually called, the highest, feature of the absolute, that is the Bhagwan feature. And that particular feature of the Bhagwan, the topmost transcendentalist will know. All those who are engaged into this particular study of the absolute truth, they will know that okay, Bhagwan सिर्फ एक रोशनी नहीं है, भगवान सिर्फ एक डिस्क नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान एक व्यक्ति है. The Lord is a person who is there behind this sun planet. The sun God is there. So similarly, even we, over here, we also should know that the Lord is not simply a light, and we don't have too much, because some people, the Mayavadis or there, the Brahmavadis that are there, the Brahmavadis want to merge into the effulgence of the Lord. And there are Paramatmavadis who are meditating on the form of the Lord. So those who are Brahmavadis, those who want to actually meditating that the Lord is light and the Lord is, ek roshni hai, they want to merge into that Brahma Jyoti of the Supreme Lord. Because if you see, if Krishna is a person, then he has an effulgence also emanating, right? So that particular effulgence of Krishna is called the Brahma Jyoti. And the Brahmavadis that are there, they want to merge into this Brahma effulgence of the Lord. So then the Brahman effulgence has only one aspect, that is the Sat aspect. Sat means eternity. Eternity means Shashvatta hogi. So ye to actually the soul also has it. The soul has three characteristics. It has eternity, it has knowledge, and it is full of bliss. These are one of the three, these are the three characteristics. There are many other characteristics of the soul, but the primary spiritual characteristic of the soul are three, that it is eternal, the soul is eternal, the soul is full of knowledge. Give me 1 minute. The soul is full of knowledge and the soul is full of bliss also. But when a particular person enters into the Brahma Jyoti, he can only enjoy the eternity part. He cannot enjoy the knowledge and the bliss part. So, for example, somebody puts you in a room and where there are, there are no windows, no doors, no activity, no furniture. And somebody's told you that, okay, for millions of lifetimes, you have to stay in this room only without doing any activity. कमाना नहीं है, दमाना नहीं है, डांस नहीं करना है, सिर्फ एक जगह पे बैठे रहना है. आपको कैसे लगेगा? How will you feel? Similarly, Brahma Jyoti mein, when you enter, you don't have any activity. But the soul's very nature is to be active. Bina activity, like right now also, even if I'm teaching, I'm doing some activity, I'm moving my hands, I'm speaking through my tongue, I'm blinking my eyes. Even you all on that particular side might be doing something, taking notes or something like that, or blinking your eyes. So the very nature of the soul is to be active. So if I put the soul into an inactive state, it will die. It will not be happy at all. Now let us understand the second aspect, that is the knowledge aspect. So the Paramatmavadis, what they do is they meditate on the form of the Lord, which is also really very nice. It's not like that it's wrong on meditating on the form of the Lord. At least the Paramatmavadis know that Bhagwan ka ek sakar roop hai. The God is a person and he has some shape and he has some attributes. So they are meditating on the form of the Lord. But why are they meditating on the form of the Lord? Because they want to merge into the Lord and they themselves want to become the Lord, which is again a wrong understanding. So the soul is eternal. Then the soul has knowledge that, okay, there is a Supreme Lord and I have to meditate on that Supreme Lord, but I have to merge into the Supreme Lord. But again, then there is no bliss. When you merge also, when you get one of the 5 types of muktis you get, then still you don't have that particular bliss. So the soul is missing the bliss part. Then how will he get the bliss part then? So the bliss part, that only person gets, one who knows that the Supreme Lord is a person. What is my connection with the Supreme Lord? That I'm a servant of the Supreme Lord. And that Supreme Lord has a good effulgence that is emanating from his, spiritual body. Then that person tries to serve the Supreme Lord. And when he tries to serve the Supreme Lord is actually reciprocating with him. And in that reciprocation, he gets bliss. Without that reciprocation with the Supreme Lord, this particular person does not get any bliss at all, any person. So that is why this Sat, Chit and Anand, the soul then will experience these three things when he is serving the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, he is dukhi only. Brahma Jyoti mein bhi jayega, dukhi hai. Bhagwan mein bhi leen ho jayega, merge into the Supreme Lord, then also he is not very happy. And that is why that is why in this particular shloka also the supremacy of the Lord is also established. Prabhupada is saying that Bhagwan means anybody who has got 6 opulences, which I told you all, and one who is, no living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narayan, they can possess all these opulences in 100%. And even Brahma in his Brahma Samhita is saying that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigra Anadira Adar Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. There are so many people who are possessing qualities, but nobody can excel Krishna in 100%. Why? Because the Lord is body, because the Lord's body is Sat, Chit and Anand. And our body is also Sat, Chit and Anand. But to come to that level of that Sachit Anand, we also need to have that Sachit Anand, right? And that is why the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the cause of all causes. And there are many other, incarnations of the Supreme Lord that are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the very first canto. Give me 1 minute. The very first canto, where it is established, that is the Paribhasha Sutra of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this sloka. Ete chansa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Indrayari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuga Yuge. So all the incarnations of God that are there, or the expansions of planetary expansions, or expansions of the planetary expansions, nobody is supreme. But only Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Only he is the original supreme personality of Godhead. And because why? He is the source of the super soul also, and the source of the impersonal Brahman also. And that is why it is said that yes, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, where it is coming. And that is why now Krishna is actually not approving his Arjuna's so-called compassion for the his kingsmen or his relatives. So this is what is actually described in this particular second shloka of this particular chapter. Anybody has any queries, comments, or any reflections on this? Hare Krishna. So, is everything clear, or any doubts, queries anybody has having?
Mataji, Hare Krishna Pranam.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Mataji, you said 4. I need to know again. What are the 4 impurities?
Yeah, the 4 defects we have that.
Yeah, those defects only I'm asking Mataji actually.
Yeah, the 4 defects that we have is that firstly we have imperfect senses.
Yeah.
Then we are in an illusion. Then thirdly, that we have a tendency of getting cheated. We have this either we cheat others or we get cheated by somebody or the other. And then the 4th is we commit mistakes. Either we commit mistakes or others commit mistakes towards us. So these are the 4 impurities that we have, which is distinguishing us from the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord does not have these 4 defects. Okay, Prabhu?
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Hare
Yes.
Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Sakhi Mataji, yes, tell me.
This is my first class, Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class, Mataji. My doubt is, Mataji, you told that till we are not surrender, till that time we will go into cycle of birth and death. So now what we feel that we are in the process of surrendering. So same thing will occur for us also, Mataji.
No. Same thing, like, see, for a devotee, whether he's living in this material planet or he's living in the spiritual world, for him, the means and the goal is the same. Means whatever here also I'm doing, Shravan, Kirtan, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam I'm doing. I'm also trying to surrender to Supreme Lord. I'm also doing Shravanam Gita. In the spiritual world also, what do we have to do over there? There also we are doing same activities. There we are not doing anything different. Here also we are doing same, and there also, after going there also, the process will be the same. The means and the goal is the same. So we are into the process. But when we are actually following a particular process, we are actually shedding out our own anarthas. We are still in the anartha nivriti stage. Then will come the nishtha stage. Nishtha means firm faith. Because we started with adhav shraddha. Shraddha means, komal shraddha. What do you say in English? You say that, very, soft faith you start with. But then when all your anarthas are, vanquished or given up by you, then you come to the nishtha stage. Nishtha means firm faith. That now, it's like a rock mountain. Nobody can shake you from this particular path of Krishna consciousness. You cannot be carried away by any amount of people, any other sampradaya, any other allurement, any other Maya tricks. You will not be. You'll be very firm. And from nishtha, then will come ruchi. Ruchi means a very natural, that interest that is there. Okay. Previously, we had interest of going out in malls, or obviously in my time, we never had malls, or going for movies or picnics or parties or any of these things. Right. But now our focus is, diverted, that instead of going on Sunday every Sunday to a mall, now we go every Sunday to the temple. Or instead of, watching television, we are actually now attending some classes wherever they are going on Zoom, anywhere else. So this is our endeavor to, know the Supreme Lord, please the Supreme Lord as such. So we are also in that particular endeavor. So we are also doing Shravanam Kirtan over here. So not to worry so much that whether we will get birth. But if there is some incompleteness also, like for example, you have now ruchi, okay, you have a lot of interest also, and this, while shedding anartha nivritti, then you're still having interest. Okay, I want to worship, I want to do deity worship also, I want to do book distribution also, I want to chant also, I want to read also. This is ruchi. Then asakti, there is so much of attachment to the Supreme Lord that anybody, like for example, a mother is attached to the child. All the time she's thinking about the child only, because she's very attached to the child. Anybody is attached to the Supreme Lord will be all the time thinking about the Supreme Lord's welfare. How will I preach? How will I distribute books? How will I expand the movement? So that, that is, asakti, that is attachment. Then comes the bhava stage. In bhava stage, nobody has to tell you, okay, now get up, do Mangala Arati, chant 16 rounds, offer boga to the Lord, or do book distribution. Nobody has to tell you. It is very swabhaviki. It is very, very natural, which comes from spontaneous. Comes. That is why if you see in the Nectar of Devotion, the bhava definition, which is very spontaneous, it comes very spontaneously. Spontaneously, you are chanting and you start crying. Okay, I'm such a low fallen soul. I've just wasted so much of my millions of lifetimes. Now is a time for me to chant and surrender to Krishna. So we all are doing all these things, because as and when we keep on hearing, we keep on improving also. So there is definite improvement. But now at the time of death, whatever we have done, throughout this particular lifetime, then at the time of death, Krishna will decide whether another birth has to be taken, or then he takes you back home, back to Godhead quickly. But our previous activities will decide at the time of death, where do we go. So not to worry, we don't have to worry about death. Death is very, this insignificant word, because even if you take another birth, Krishna says now in 40th sloka, Krishna will say, there is no loss or diminution in this process. What will happen? Again, you will take birth in a nice Vaishnava family and you will continue from that particular, wherever you left from. So say, for example, in this lifetime, you did 80% bhakti, only 20% is remaining. So you will take, birth in a Vaishnava family, and from 81% you will complete. Start executing that and you will complete that way. Okay, Sakhi Seva Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Rupa Mataji, you had something to say, something query. Rupa
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji. So, Hare Krishna Mataji, just now some Prabhuji asked what are the 4 defects. What for that? Janma.
Hare Krishna, we are not able to hear you. I think your internet connection is not strong. You'll have to come in some area where your internet connection is strong. Hare Krishna. Disha Mataji. Rupa Mataji, you can just, write down your question in the chat box and I'll answer from there, because we are not able to hear you. Or maybe your phone has got hung up or something like that. Disha
Hare Krishna
Mataji?
Mataji.
Yeah, Disha Mataji.
Uh, Mataji, like you said, we have 4 anarthas. Okay, out of that, like 2 anarthas is like either we cheat someone or we are getting cheated. So, like we cheat someone is in our control, but when someone cheats us, that is not in our control, right? So sometimes in that case, we tend to get violent. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
that is very natural. See, somebody is cheating you, that anger will be very natural for you. That, how dare he cheats me or she cheats me. But then how is that anger exhibited now? That we'll have to see. Sometimes verbally that anger might be expressed. Sometimes physically that anger might be expressed. Or sometimes third stage, गोली से उड़ा दो उसको. So that third stage पर हमें नहीं पहुंचना है. Verbal is still okay, because verbal में ये होता है कि आप बोल के शांत हो जाते हो. But the best part is that, like even in Arjuna's case, so much of cheating was done to them. So much of cheating, poisoning them and putting them lakshagra, sending them to the, even in the Dias case, there was the Dias game also, there was lots of cheating with them. But then what? And then now Krishna is telling, now you fight. Now you know this, because lots of cheating has been done with you all. Lots of atrocities have been put with you all. Then you'll have to fight. Then somewhere you will have to, in a very nice way, you have to tell them that, see, you're cheating, I know that. And please stop your cheating. Or somebody is not ready. Then, say for example, okay, you go to a particular shop and that particular price of that particular article might be 50 rupees. Okay. And on the even price tag, it is written 50 rupees. But the shopkeeper is taking from you 60 rupees. Then what will you do? You have the right to tell him, no, that see, on the price tag, it is written 50 rupees. Why are you charging me 60 rupees? Then what will you do? You'll go to the consumer court and say, you'll complain in the consumer this, that see, price tag is 50 rupees. He's charging me 60 rupees. First, verbally, you will tell that person. If he does not agree, then you'll have to go to that. So somewhere there is a law in India also, it's given to us, so we can make utilize of that particular law. Disha Mataji, yes?
yeah, Mataji. And I have one more question. Like how to like how मतलब भोग कैसे लगाते हैं? Like I have no idea.
Good question. Good question. Now, this bhog lagane ka यानी विधि बहुत ही elaborate है. I will put it on your personal, WhatsApp, this. And maybe I can put it on the WhatsApp group also, that how to offer bhoga to the Supreme Lord. There's a full, sequence also, what mantras to speak, how you should, this, and what items also will be there. Bhoga. So actually, it is not something very rocket science. It's very simple. Whatever you're cooking for yourself, not only you don't have to make any, elaborate things for the Lord. जो आप simple खा रहे हो, आप खाने से पहले you offer it to the Lord. Okay, so I will post this on the group for the benefit of the others also. Fine.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Welcome. Vrinda, beta, you had something to ask? Vrinda's hand is up. Again, your voice is also not audible.
Yeah, Mataji. That as we know that Krishna wants us to be inclined towards bhakti, and he wants us to be spiritually advanced. So why is that he surrounds us by Maya? Is my question.
Oh, what a good question. What a good question. So see, when you are surrounded by Maya, then you get a lot of kicks from her also. Then you are realized that, okay, I am in distress, I am not happy. Now, whose shelter do I take? Then what will we do? We'll take shelter of the Supreme Lord. But because if you are in a very happy situation all the time, you're put in a happy situation, then you'll forget the Lord. You will not realize your supreme relation with the Lord, with the Supreme Lord. And that is why the work of Maya is only to make you actually remind you that you have a connection with Krishna. You have a relationship with Krishna. That is why all the time, actually Maya is like a reminder for us. If you don't worship, you will suffer. If you don't worship, you will suffer. If you don't take Krishna's name, you will suffer. And that is why Maya is surrounding. About this Maya, we will discuss more in elaboration in the 3rd and the 7th chapter. Pura detail how Maya works actually. That whole structure is there with me. How Maya actually works and how to get rid of her. How to make her your friend. Okay. Any more questions you all have?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you.